and welcome. I'm Darren, and today we are going to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, I've just been in the game, I've just had a little run around. We are going to check it out on the 9070 XT. If you've watched any of my content, you can now see, look at that. I've got the RGB working, so effectively what I did was downloaded the gigabyte. I think you had to download the entire lot like a control center. Managed to get into the RGB, change the RGB to something that kind of suited. You can just turn it all off if you really wanted to. I managed to kind of turn it onto something that would suit this build, and then uninstalled all of it because I didn't really want it, and I didn't want it interfering with anything else on here, and that's fine. It's kept its profile. So if anyone else is in the same boat, you can do that. You can go onto the Gigabyte page, download the software, change the RGB, and then bin it all off, and it appears hold its profile. I don't know if it's going to stay like that indefinitely, but it certainly worked for the moment. So if I need to do it again, I'll just have to do it again. Back to Assassin's Creed. So, and this is a bit of a dig at the 9070 XT. Well, it's not fair to have a dig at the 9070 XT. This is a dig at AMD, because I feel like this is a dig at AMD to me. And the reason is because I use upscalers. I play at 4K, I use upscalers, I rely on upscalers. That is the reason I bought the 9070 XT. I already had the 7900 XTX. If FSR4 isn't coming in new games, there's no reason for me to buy the 9070 XT. So I put up a video the other day saying, where is FSR4? Because it appears that some of the games it's advertised to be in, it's not in. And then Assassin's Creed comes along, and this game's obviously, it's been put behind. We know what's going on with Assassin's Creed. We knew that there was going to be obviously a bit of a delay on Assassin's Creed, and we know that there's been a big delay on the point at which the 9070 XTs were released. So how AMD haven't had the time, whatever it is they need to do, to take the opportunity on the next big AAA game that comes out after they've been selling these GPUs off with FSR4. Because, I mean, why else would you buy it? Like, obviously, I'm on the 7900 XTX. The reason I bought it was because it had this advantage over the XTX. If it loses a little bit on performance, it still had what I considered the advantage of a good upscaler. Assassin's Creed comes along, nowhere to be found. And unfortunately, it's an instant impact. Time will tell. I've only tested the 9070 XT so far in Assassin's Creed Shadows. It plays okay. It's clearly a very, very demanding game. However, I'm going to assume that there is a lot of control in there to be able to adjust it. So I'm going to give them props for that. There is obviously stuff that you can do to make it run. Now, obviously, you can't turn RT off, so it's either RT low or RT ultra. I haven't been through the settings of that. I'm going to do that in a different video, because if not, it will take too long. But if you want to play, obviously, at 4K with everything cranked up, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if you want to play at 1440p with all the settings maxed out. You're going to need upscaling in this game. You definitely need upscaling at 4K by quite a lot, because at native it's around 30-35 FPS. So moving to quality upscale is only getting you to around 45-50 FPS. It's not your general UE5 game that would run at 45 FPS native, and with an upscale you'd get to 60. This game isn't performing like that. So I've gone in the game, I've gone through the settings. You'll have to have a look. Obviously the video is going to come in this video where I've gone through the settings, and I kind of ended up, so there's native TAA that we looked at, and then they obviously have some sort of inbuilt scaling, which is, I'm surprised they didn't just use a resolution scale, to be honest, but they've obviously got some sort of inbuilt TAA scaling, You then have XeSS, and then you have FSR, which is available on the AMD side. We looked at XeSS, that falls apart badly on the grass. And we looked at FSR, it's softer. Anything past quality goes quite downhill quite quickly. But it is the best option. So unfortunately, it seems that we're kind of left at this moment. If I want to keep all the settings cranked, the best option is FSR quality and then using frame generation. It means using frame generation at around about 40 to 45 FPS, which is not ideal for AMD's frame generation. It's all right. There is a little bit of frame pacing in it. It doesn't feel great, but it doesn't feel terrible. So, I mean, I'll have to do a further investigation of all the settings that I can maybe optimize and change a little bit to maybe get that a little bit better. But this is an area where, from what I'm concerned, FSR4 would have just fixed this instantly, because if FSR4 looked anywhere near the quality in this game to what it looks like in Ratchet & Clank or Horizon Forbidden West, then I could just go straight to FSR performance mode from frame generation. FSR performance mode, I'm going to be in a way better window, probably at least around 60, that I can throw on AMD's frame generation, and then I've got all of the stuff in tandem working together. Happy days. I'm happy. There we go. Now I'm not happy because we don't have FSR4. I hope other people aren't happy. I hope it's not just me, because I don't want people dealing with it. It's the same with NVIDIA. It's the same with AMD. When they do stuff like this, I think people should come out and be quite open about it. That's the reason I bought this GPU. And the first AAA game that comes along, and it's like, where is it? So what happens when it turns up in 2 months' time, when I'm no longer playing the game anymore? What happens if I now put the NVIDIA GPU in? DLSS 4 looks good in it. It then gives me the advantage because it looks good in it, so it will allow me to get that extra bit of performance. And then yet again, I find myself in a position where I don't want to play it on the AMD GPU. I want to play on the NVIDIA GPU. They're damaging themselves by doing stuff like that. So I hope this gets sorted. I really do, for their own good, because this now leaves me to concern that already the games that were apparently are still at this moment in time advertised to have FSR4 in, well, they don't. And what games are we going to have that do? How long are we going to wait for it? Are we ever going to get it at launch? Do we have to wait a month after the game's released, to the point of we've completed the game and we've completed it on a different GPU because we didn't have FSR4? So I know this will sound like I'm bitching. I am bitching. I think I've got a right to bitch because, like I said, if I wasn't going to get FSR4 in games, I would have just carried on using the 7900 XTX. It's a little bit annoying. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. We're going to go in the game. We're going to go through the settings. It looks good. The game, I don't know. I didn't want to go any further because I want to go back to the same area. I'm going to swap over to the NVIDIA GPU. And we're going to see kind of what that looks like, and then maybe we can get some side-by-sides and see where that leaves us at the end of it, because I want to share my experience so people can then make up their own mind. And I don't know, this might run like shit on the video. I already think I've seen kind of a little bit of benchmarking, but not from any of the major channels. It appears that this game probably, certainly with ray tracing low, I think this engine works better on AMD. So I think you're getting more performance, as in it's one of those cases where the XTX is very close to the 4090 in performance. So the XTX would be outperforming the 4080 probably by a decent margin. Once ray tracing gets put up to ultra, I don't know if that then swings back around to the performance then going more onto the NVIDIA GPUs. I don't know until I get a further look at it what impact ray tracing has. Do we even need ray tracing on? I don't know. So I'm going to look further into that. It's going to take, there's a lot of stuff to look into. My first initial look was just to see what settings I wanted to set it at, what was available, and what I could run it at. So that's it. We'll get into the video, we'll check it out, and I'll leave it there. So, here we are. Assassin's Creed Shadows. And this is a really good looking game. I didn't know if I was going to buy this game, and it's not because I do not like these games. I just never finish these games. I don't know why. Maybe they're just a bit too long for me, that I just find myself... It's probably a little bit rough to say getting bored, but I kind of do to a degree. I think realistically, for me personally, certain games need a bit of a multiplayer element for me to stay attached. But anyway, regardless of that. So, as you can see, frame rate is pretty rough. We are running 4K with everything maxed out, RT, the lot. Well, at least I think we are. And we are running at TAA native. So movement around we're not really going to take much look at, because at 30 FPS things start to look pretty rough. But it's very sharp. It's almost maybe a little bit too sharp, this image. I'm going to be completely honest. It's not bad. It's very clear. I'd probably personally soften it a little bit. To be fair, I think that's what probably FSR does actually do. So it's probably not actually that bad, surprisingly enough. What else it does, or how bad it does it, I don't know. We're going to have a look in a moment. Admittedly, I have been playing with FSR up to this point, but I haven't actually looked at TAA or anything else. So that's actually a really nice image, to be honest. That is a nice image. Obviously particles and everything, the wind, the movement, foliage, it does look quite good. I'm not going to lie. So that's that. Obviously that's not playable, and we're not going to throw in frame gen at that either. So what do we have available? Let me just check. So yeah, that's maxed to whatever that can be. Ultra high. So ray tracing we've got on ultra high. BPH. Geometry. Okay. That's at ultra high. That is as high as it can go. So not everything goes to ultra high. But we have everything at its highest setting, I believe. If you see anything that isn't, let me know. So hair and all that sort of stuff. All high, and all characters and all that sort of goodness. So obviously field of view is the default 4K. There's no frame rate limiter, and we are using upscaler type TAA at native. Now I don't know. We're about to find out what happens. So obviously, yes, frame generation is off, and there is a sharpening strength, so that's actually quite handy. Motion blur is off, so it gives us a chance to adjust it to your own personal wants. So that's pretty good. Right, I don't know how this is going to work, because I don't know exactly what that would consist of. TAA with an upscaler. I'm interested to know exactly how that's going to work. Let's try that. We're going to stay stationary. Okay, so yeah, instantly that's nowhere near as crisp an image. It's not horrendous, but it's definitely a lot blurry. It's actually given it a bit of a weird... It almost looked like it was blurry down the edge. Maybe it's just where I've got that talk to Matsu thing up there that looks quite blurry. Definitely softened image. Performance is 45 FPS, so that's still not what we want. That ain't going to work out for us. You can play it at 45 FPS, but you're going to want better, because we're going to want to get to a situation where we can probably at least put the frame generator on. So let's get to balanced. Let's check that out. Blurrier again. Her face has kind of lost a lot of it. It's beginning to look quite low resolution, so I don't think that's going to be what we want, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, we could probably sharpen it, but I can already tell. I mean, out there, yeah, you can see, if you look at those bamboo out there, they're doing some kind of crazy stuff going on out there. So I'm not even sure how whatever this upscaler is or how it works. You can see like that hot window there is turning into a bit of a disco party, like quite badly. So we kind of, her face has gone quite flat. Her hair looks terrible now. And yeah, you're getting a lot of instability in the image. A lot of this stuff out here, like you can see, that on movement is terrible. Those bamboos, that looks really bad. So obviously as I'm moving, yeah, that isn't going to be great. Not probably going to want to play with that, I'm not going to lie. I've never seen that before. I don't know exactly what that is. Let's go back here so we can at least see her face. This was a good area. And to be fair, the grass has got a little bit of a grainy look to it now as well. And that's just while I'm stood still. So, oh yeah, the whole image breaks up now. That isn't nice. We ain't using that, that's for sure. I wondered what that would be, and I don't want to wonder what it is now anymore. Looking at how horrible that is on movement, that's terrible. I wonder what they're using. Okay, that isn't an option. Let's go to FSR. So there's an FSR native AA. Okay, let's try that. That gives us 30 FPS. Panning the camera at 30 FPS isn't probably a great situation, is it? Let's be honest. Is it doing that weird? That's not that bad. I think like the little door handle of that thing has got a little bit of a... And the bamboo out there is a bit unstable. That might just be because we're... Let's crank it up a bit so we've got a bit of a better frame rate. I can't remember. I think I've ran up until this point with these settings, AMD FSR at quality. So we've got a better frame rate this time, 45. It's actually quite, when you look at it like that, it's actually quite unstable. I didn't really notice it that much, I'll be honest, running the... Yeah, okay. So that's kind of got a little bit of a disco going on there. Those bamboos do kind of get a little bit shady. In your normal play, I didn't actually particularly notice anything because you're not really strafing from side to side looking at stuff. So whilst I was playing it, I didn't really... I wonder if her hair... Yeah, her hair definitely looked better at TAA native, didn't it? It has got kind of a fuzzy look to it. And that window over there is definitely got a little bit of a disco party going on. Damn, that water's gone a little bit grainy under there as well. I wonder if it did that at TAA native. Let's have a look. No. It's a little bit down by where his rod is, admittedly. But I think it looks a little bit better underneath, in kind of this area, underneath the bridge. It does look a little bit... That's a bit of a strange look to it there. It's not bad. I think it looked a little bit grainy out there. That's still kind of a bit unstable here on the thing. It's a much sharper image than what we were just looking at. And what's her hair look? Yeah, her hair looks way better. Doesn't look as fuzzy. It looks kind of real. It's got like, it doesn't look like fake. It actually looks, they've done a good job with hair in this game. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like a hair fetish freak, but that's pretty realistic hair. That's pretty good. I'm quite impressed with that. So, TAA native is pretty good. Like I said, it's a bit sharp, but it's pretty good. So where were we? We were at FSR quality, weren't we? So yeah, it does make the water... Oh yeah, okay. It's got that fucking thing that it does in Horizon Forbidden West where it makes the water go oily. And her face has just gone crazy fuzzy. Very soft looking. From behind, that's so weird. Look how soft her... I don't know if this comes across on YouTube. But her face has just gone very low res. I don't know if it's because it's struggling with her hair. Because when you look at her from behind now, the rest of her kind of, I'm not going to say armor, her clothing, doesn't look as low res or soft as what her face now looks. But it's definitely done something kind of, I reckon it's struggling with her hair. I reckon if she had a hood on or something, it probably wouldn't look so bad. But I think her hair and the movement and it not having what it needs, the motion vectors or I don't know, whatever, the machine learning, with it not having machine learning, I reckon it's struggling to replicate her face because the wind is blowing her hair around and it doesn't know what to do. That's what I'm thinking. Because that guy's hat there looks kind of pretty crisp. It doesn't look that bad. Just like it actually really stands out quite bad how fuzzy her face and hair's just gone. When the rest of it is kind of looks relatively normal. So that's a bit odd. But anyway, let's see what XESS does. XCSS at quality. Let's try that. This is kind of being, I find, quite hit or miss in certain games. Yeah, this doesn't look. This looks like it's having a very similar issue. More stable on the hot out there, and the water looks much better. The bamboo out there looks more stable. It's just again struggling. Doesn't look so bad there. Looks better zoomed in. So XCSS looks like it's probably the better option. Yeah, it's more stable than what FSR is. So I think that's what we're going to have to roll with. But we're going to have to take it a little bit harder. So if we go to... No, don't do that. Let's go to balanced. Oh shit, that's really gone wrong now. Tell you what, that is, like, we're just gonna have to go and find a hood. She needs a hat. The bamboo out there isn't that bad. And to be fair, what's that door looking like? That's not that bad. The water is gone a little bit murky looking, but it's not terrible. And I'm not seeing... There's a lot of leaves flying around. I'm not particularly... Nothing standing out as being crazy ghosting to me. So... I probably could use... I don't know how this is going to work. FSR, yeah, okay. Is this going to make me reset? I reckon it will. Yeah, there you go. Oh, maybe not. Oh. Where we going? Where we going? Let's go. 70, 80, 90. Look at it go. It's like watching a fucking rev meter. Off we go. We're flying. We're 100 framesies. I think this is probably the best option on this GPU right now. If you want to kind of... What does it feel like? It feels okay. I am on controller. I wouldn't probably play this game on keyboard and mouse because I think it'd probably be a nightmare. I think this is... Yeah, I'd have to like really spend some time to go through everything. Something might happen to make me change my mind at some point. But... It's a bit of an awkward one because her face and her hair is struggling. The rest of the image, I'd want to soften a little bit because I reckon it would just take away a little bit of any imperfections caused by the upscaler. If it was like this grass down here, looks a little bit... It's a little bit over sharpened. Let's have a look. This is all personal preference, so don't stress over this. It's just me. Oh, where is it? Yes, here. So if I take that down a tad, was it 25? Nah, that's just completely screwed her. Like that image there now on her hair is terrible. So we ain't doing that. Let's have a look. What was it? I think it was, yeah, 25 at standard. We're just going to have to put that back on and deal with the rest of the image. I don't think that's a bad image, to be fair. And this is with everything cranked. I mean, I don't know how much raise tracing is hurting us in this game. And I haven't looked at the impact of what it looks like. What's this like? Oh, we've got... Oh, the grass goes a little bit funny, doesn't it? It's not bad. Like, looking up at the roof, I'm kind of moving around, staring at the roof of that hut up there to see how stable it looks. And it doesn't look too bad. Her face here doesn't look horrendous. Definitely her hair is struggling. And it does stand out because it's what you're kind of looking at the whole time at this moment in time. So the grass has turned into that almost doing what it does. Yeah, there, look. That looks horrible. What does that look like at TAA native then? See, I knew that would happen. I'd get set on something that I thought looked alright, and then it looked shit. Do we have to turn this? Well, let's just leave frame generation on. We'll leave it on. I don't know what will happen, but we'll leave it on. So if I go to TAA native. Oh, that grass looks way better. Way better. We might have to run it like this. No, I don't think we can. But that grass looks instantly better. When I walked in, it just did not look right at all. So if I try FSR quality, just to give us a little bit of a boost. a little pick-me-up because TAA was terrible when it came to upscaling. No, don't do that. Quality, let's try that. Yeah, that's better than what we were with just XCSS then. I think this is probably what I'm going to have to run it at. Is that... yeah, okay. So there's only stuff like... this just screws up the water. Is there ghosting with this? Is this doing exactly what Horizon Forbidden West? No, I don't think there is. I don't think there's any ghosting in the leaves or anything like that. I think this is what I'd have to run it at. And maybe just get used to the fact that there's probably a little bit of latency when it comes to combat, which I reckon you'd kind of get yourself used to, like just anticipating and maybe, you know, if you're parrying or something, just kind of anticipating it that bit faster. It's just the water that is probably going to look a little bit rough. So I think that is probably, if you wanted to stay with everything at Ultra, we'll have a look in a different video and just see what the impact of RT is, because it might just be better off turning RT off and then running with TAA native and frame generation. It's kind of running without any upscaling and frame generation. The frame rate's just too low. 30 FPS for frame generation is not going to handle it. 40 to 45 is a lot better. This doesn't feel... obviously I'm not doing any combat at the moment, but I'm not feeling like there's any type of crazy time delay on any of my movement right now. Oh shit, look. I'm scared that guy. He's gone. Dude, I was come to slay your fish. Chill out. It's only a wooden sword anyway. What's he pussying about? I've got a fucking wooden sword. That feels alright. It feels alright. This looks alright. It feels alright. I think this is probably what I would be running at. It does kind of go a little bit soft out in the distance. Probably not horrendous, actually, to be honest. And her... oh, shit. Yeah, that's the problem that you probably get. I don't know if you can see that. I'm getting like a really, really big... I'm not even going to say double image. I'm going to say triple image. In normal gameplay, I didn't really notice that. It was just when I did that, I thought, hold on, why have I just got like, what's it called when you get like a wind that comes off a plane's wings, like a turbulence type, not turbulence, I can't remember what you'd call it. See it coming off her head? She's turning so fast that she's got like this wind vortex coming off her head. In normal gameplay, oh yeah, you didn't. As soon as you see it, right, I've just screwed that for everyone. Everyone that's about to run at these settings is now not going to be able to unsee that. I'm sorry. I think it's probably no. It's just going to do it. She needs to stop turning so hard. Like a fighter jet head going on. Nah, I'd run at this. This is the best option available on this right now if you want to play with everything. Oh, shit, did I just hit a button? If you want to play with everything cranked, I'd probably say this is your best option. On the 9070 XT. But it's kind of smooth. It's got quite like a nice clean frame rate to it. I think that this as far as it goes, I think that this engine probably does prefer AMD. However, when there's RT and what the impact of the RT is in the equation, I don't know if it then turns onto NVIDIA. I think I kind of know RT. I got a feeling that this engine, from what I've seen in a couple of not great benchmarks, it does appear that it probably favours AMD. Like I said, RT taken into the equation, it probably swaps over. So there is a little bit of ghosting on those particles. It's not, yeah, okay, so there is a bit. I don't think it's as bad as Horizon Forbidden West, but I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to check it out on the, in fact, no, I'm going to have to check it out in the 4080 now because I need to make sure that I'm in the same area. So I am going to leave it there. I'm going to play swap over systems. I'm going to check it out on the 4080 and just see how DLSS looks in this, because we have no fucking FSR4. Yay. Anyway, that's it. If you liked, give me a like, and I'll catch you in the next one.